Well, welcome everybody to Thunderbolts Postgame Live. Joe Downs along with the guy who called the game, Tommy Pecoraro. And first of all, Tommy, always tough to lose in overtime, but we do get a point out of this.
Absolutely, and it was a very weird game. The puck was bouncing around quite a lot of broken plays on both ends, a lot of passes just didn't connect. It was kind of a wonky game, if you will, back and forth throughout the whole game, but the Thunderbolts got a big point out of it. And certainly, as the year goes along, that point's going to be a crucial point down the stretch as the Thunderbolts look to get back in the playoffs. So every point counts, even though it's a loss.
That's a good way to put it.
It's still a good point to salvage out of the night.
Well, what do you make of, first of all, Parker Gahagan? What do you make of his points?
Well, certainly the hype was well worth it, coming out of 4 years at Army and then playing some time in the American Hockey League with San Jose. And he was in top form. 36 saves and 39 shots. He was stellar in net. He did look like he kind of wanted that second goal back, if you will. Yeah, it happens. I mean, 39 shots on goal. Eventually, you're going to get one. Certainly, one happened on the other side, too, with Ryan Mulder on the power play goal. More on that, of course, as we go along with this. But it happens. But overall, he had a fantastic game, and certainly was a big reason why the Thunderbolts got the point out of the night.
Yeah, and he played really solid. I saw a couple of times where he had like breakaways that he really came up clutch and stoned the guy to keep that in the game. And that's really kind of part of this because Quad City was throwing everything but the kitchen sink at him. They had a lot of shots.
Oh, yeah, especially in that first period, 18-8, the shot advance. They came prepared. Certainly coming into tonight, they were prepared to pepper whatever goalie was in the net. And they certainly did. And 17 saves on 18 shots was a pretty good first period for Gahagan, and then turned into a tie game in the second period. Kept the Thunderbolts in it, only down by no more than one goal in the game. So certainly played a big part of it.
Well, it was 1-0 when we got maybe one of the more unexpected goals from Braden Helms.
Yeah, Braden Helms was a big pickup out of training camp. Played a couple games up in the ECHL in Norfolk. And through 5 games, he had 3 assists with the Thunderbolts. 4 games, excuse me, with 3 assists. This was his 5th game. And on the pass from the neutral zone from St. Jones, his first game as a Thunderbolt, by the way, since being picked up from Huntsville. And Braden Helms, I said on the broadcast, it was like a Brian Leach move. He came up the right boards and was able to cut right to the middle against the defender. Got it on goal. Not only got one really good shot away, but got his own rebound and put in the back. And then it was a really stellar offensive defenseman type goal.
And a goal very much needed because up until then, we didn't see much offense out of the Thunderbolts at all.
No, a lot of the plays have been to the outside. Certainly, there was a few hit or miss passes to the front of the net that got through. But overall, most of the shots were from the outside leading up to that. And Braden Helms just said, enough's enough. I'm going to do it myself. So. And made the most of that play, so certainly was a big goal to get the offense going for Evansville.
Down 2-1 in the third period, I should say, and we were on the power play, and power play goals have not come easy to us.
For either team.
No, for either team, that's a good point. But Connor Sanvito, he had one of the more unusual goals.
Yes, when it comes to games against Quad City, as the last goal last season certainly was for Quad City, there were some real wonky goals in this franchise series between Quad City and Evansville. And what it looked like to me was that I could be wrong with a pass from the corner. It was meant to pass in front. And maybe he meant to do this after all, but I believe it banked either off the pad of Mulder or one of the Quad City players in front. I believe it was Mulder, could be wrong. But just getting to the front of the net, just doing the little things like that, you never know where the puck is going to bounce.
And I believe you're right, by the way. I do believe it went off the pads at the goal tag. So pretty wild one there. And of course, the overtime goal that kind of ended it for us. Kind of a tough way to lose, but, overall, like we said, you get the point. And I think, and you can speak to this better than I can, this is a much more competitive squad than we've seen in years past.
Oh, 100%. Certainly they had their moments throughout the game. And like I said, the ice, from what I've heard from players on both sides, the ice wasn't exactly pristine. You get that as the year goes along. Of course, with all the events that go along here, you can only do so much with the ice. But certainly this team has revitalized and is getting better as the year has gone along. And Quad City, they struggled a little bit too, but they're not a team to take lightly. They threw the Thunderbolts for a loop several times last season. They've put up good games against top teams like Peoria, so certainly it's not a fact of Quad City being a slightly lesser team. I mean, the Quad City's still a good team, and they still had plenty of good to take away out of it.
And now and I was just about to say, you've got somewhat of an early wake-up call as you get on the bus and head to Moline. What do you think about the back end of this home and home?
Well, certainly it'll be a very interesting trip back to the Quad Cities for the first time since the end of last season. A very different feel, very different atmosphere. And it'll be interesting. I'm not sure really what to expect. I think the Thunderbolts will come out stronger in the second game. They'll get a little bit of rest going into tomorrow and kind of let the loss stew a little bit going into tomorrow. And I think they'll come out firing on all cylinders in Quad City for the game tomorrow. That's what I suspect.
And it's not unlike the scenario we saw last weekend in Huntsville, where it lost a tough one, 5-4 down there, and then came back, and really, what a rousing victory that was.
Yeah. Now all the games this year, they haven't been blown out in any games. They've all been close games. So like I said, I've always expect that it'll be another close one tomorrow.
Yeah.
And certainly it's going to be an end-to-end game, and we'll see where it goes from there.
We'll try to find a way to rest up before you head on out there. And before we leave, we want to talk about, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that it was military night here at the Ford Center, and there were plenty of exciting events that went along with that. Our beloved general manager, Patrick Kelly, he received an award from the National Guard for the Thunderbolts and all that the franchise has done for the military. And also, we got a really exciting and unusual swearing in on the ice. I've never seen that. Have you ever seen that?
I've seen a few of them.
Yeah. Oh, really? Well, you're the veteran here.
Somewhat of a veteran, 3 years.
But I thought it was neat. I went out on the ice and got some video of that. So we're going to leave you with some shots of that. And once again, thanks for tuning in to Thunderbolts Postgame Live. We'll see you next time.
Is appointed openly. According to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. Congratulations. Welcome to the team.